All right, everybody, how's it going? It is Tuesday, December 19th, 2023, and of course, we just finished with week 15 of the NFL, rather. Sorry, I'm getting the weeks mixed up. But yeah, we just finished with week 15 of the NFL, so it's only natural, it's only right, it's only the correct thing to do to go on to week 16 and see if we do better than we did last week. Not the greatest week for us personally. We went 9-7, but hey, you know, it's getting a weird time of the year. Random teams are winning, playing spoiler, saying screw the draft, and just winning games anyway. So it's, you know, it's kind of hard to getting a little weird, a little tricky, injuries, and you don't know how teams are going to respond to injuries and when the plays of guys like Jake Browning or, like, you know what I mean, like the backups playing really well. It's all so confusing at this point in the season. So, you know, hopefully we have a good week this week. But anyway, before we jump right into all the picks and the records and all that stuff, make sure you leave your picks down below, so that way I can get back to you and see how you're doing on the year, see if you're doing better than me overall. You can also leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Sorry to do this like YouTube stuff at the beginning, but it does help the video do a little bit better, and you know, you could use all the help you can get. So, you know, like, subscribe, yada yada yada. But the most important thing is to make sure you leave your comments, so that way I can get back to you. And, you know, we can see who's doing what, and you can even hate on all my picks if you hate them all, if you like them, just whatever, you know, whatever you want to say, I'll get back to you for the most part at some point. A couple may slip through. All right, let's go over the record. Let's get into the actual stuff you're listening for, not YouTube mumbo jumbo. Yeah, 9-7. We went 5-10, and then 9-7. Dang, the bad week strikes, and now we're in a slump. So we're still doing pretty good at 135-89, still under 100 games, but it looks like we're going to probably, unless we go like nearly perfect in the next couple weeks, hit that 100 mark, unfortunately. That's rough. I think we have a good week ahead, though. Thursday Night Football, let's jump right into her. The New Orleans Saints take on the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams are 4.5-point favorites with an over-under of 46.5. Both teams are 7-7. Saints coming off a win, Rams coming off a win. You know, the Saints beat the Giants 24-6, and the Rams beat the Commanders 28-20. Both teams are like weirdly fighting for playoff positioning, right? So you have like playoff positioning on the line, you have potential like division on the line for the Saints. There's a lot of things going on right now heading into this game that makes this kind of an intriguing game, good little matchup. So the reason I like the Rams, though, 24, like 17-ish kind of score, is I think the Rams have a more impressive offense than the Saints. It seems like the only time I see the Saints doing good on offense is when they can like kind of jump a bad team. Like I watched them beat up on the Patriots, they kind of beat up on the Giants, and it's kind of just one of those things where it seems like a lot of their good offensive games comes against like bad defenses. And the Rams have played pretty good defense, bordering on good defense all the whole season. So I could see where the Rams at home can kind of shut down the Saints offense, and then the Rams, of course, have their offense that can overwhelm the Saints defense. That's been really hit and miss, really streaky this year. And it kind of took like the Giants just not having a, you know, just completely falling apart with their bad offensive line. And, you know, I don't know. I wonder how the Saints corners are going to do with the combo of Cooper and Nakua, of course, with Kyren Williams emerging as a really good running back. So Stafford, of course, has experience, knows how to win. He's used to big games, whereas like Derek Carr is probably not used to big games like this. It seems like, you know, home team, Thursday night, short week, all these things are kind of pointing to the Rams for me in a pretty good close game. All right, we have some Saturday football to go over. The Cincinnati Bengals take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Bengals are 2.5-point favorites with an over-under of 37.5. Jake Browning keeps winning. He beat the Vikings 27-24. Pretty cool. And the Pittsburgh Steelers lost 30-13, as it seems their defense has officially kind of given up, as the offense isn't really doing anything to help them. It's getting bad. So because of those reasons, because again, it feels like the Steelers defense is kind of starting to throw the towel in, with all the injuries on top of just, you know, just getting no support from the offense, the injuries. I don't know how much more the Steelers can keep overcoming. They just lost their safety for the year. Like I think Minka's out as well, or like dealing with some injuries. So again, now you're going up against the Bengals second or receiving corps, though they won't have Chase, they will still have Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins, and you know, it's just this whole cacophony of receivers. And that they have another really good receiver, like it's got kind of a cool name, I just can't remember it. He wears like Irwin or something, number 16. He plays pretty good when he's called upon. So again, it's one of those things with a banged up Steelers secondary. How well are they going to respond to Jake Browning, who's playing white hot, just seemingly fearless when he throws the ball? He's very good with it. those, for those reasons, I have to go with the Bengals on the road against their, one of their blood rivals. If the Steelers were in like better health, I would pick the Steelers, and even with their offensive woes and, Mason Rudolph starting, so can't really pick them. The Buffalo Bills take on the Los Angeles Chargers. Bills are 10.5-point favorites with an over-under of 43.5. I got the Bills winning. Some may say if you pick the Chargers, you get what you deserve. You get your loss you deserve. The Bills beat the Cowboys 31-10, and they only threw the ball for 90 yards, and James Cook ran for a whole bunch. I think like 200 yards or some crazy crap like that. Yeah, so kudos to the Bills. They finally discovered how to win a game without Josh Allen having to do everything. And it appears apparently the Cowboys were sick in that game. I don't really know if it excuses how bad they played, but a bunch of the guys were sick. They're dealing with some kind of virus, the same one I think that Jalen Hurts is dealing with. So I could see maybe where things got messed up, but no real excuse to lose by 21. And then the Chargers, they tried their best in that game. They scored 21 points against the Raiders. But, fortunately for the Chargers, though they lost 63-21 to the Raiders, who scored 0 points the week prior, Brandon Staley is fired, so that's pretty cool. Unfortunately, I don't think they're going to have the interim magic that most teams do have when they fire their the coach in the interim comes in, mainly because of the fact that they don't have Justin Herbert. They're in shambles on defense. That locker room's probably a disaster, even though it's probably a little better now that, Staley's gone. But, it's really hard to pick that team this week, especially because Buffalo's going to be going crazy. All right, those are the 2 Saturday games. So, yeah, it's really hard to pick a team that just got 63'd. All right, Sunday 1 o'clock games. We have 6 of these to go over. We have the Indianapolis Colts taking on the Atlanta Falcons. Well, I'm instituting the rule again. I'm not going to get caught picking these Falcons ever again this year. That was embarrassing. I had that rule for 5 years. You don't pick the Falcons unless you absolutely have to. And in a division game, you don't absolutely have to pick the Falcons. So I made a mistake there. I messed up. I dropped the ball. I went against my own code, and because of that, I paid the price, and the fucking Falcons lost 9-7 to the Panthers. It's the worst team I've ever seen, the Panthers. It's just like, oh, come on. All right, Atlanta, you don't deserve to make the playoffs. You deserve to just be... They should have been eliminated for losing to Carolina. It's like, well, now you don't get to go. What do you mean? We're still in. Nope. We just took your playoff card and gave it to a team that was eliminated. Commanders are back in. You guys swap records. That's how we don't write the rules. It's like NFL, whatever. Anyway, the Indianapolis Colts take on the Falcons. Colts won, obviously. The Falcons lost. Falcons are somehow favored by 1.5 with an over-under of 44.5. I've got the Colts winning. They play very good offense. They can overwhelm that Falcons defense. And then, of course, there's the Colts defense who can play pretty good and just kind of shut down the Falcons offense. So I got the Colts winning pretty easily. The Green Bay Packers take on the most dangerous team in the NFL, apparently, if you ask a Falcons fan. Packers are the Carolina Panthers. Obviously, the Panthers are coming off a win, surprisingly, and the Green Bay Packers are coming off a tough loss, 34-20 to the Bucs. I have the Packers are favored by 4.5 with an over/under of 36.5. I don't really have much insight for this one. Green Bay will win this game. I don't know how Atlanta lost, though. It would be pretty funny if Green Bay lost and somehow the Patriots got the 1 pick out of this. That would be absolutely hilarious. So, kind of rooting for Carolina, but I don't think they have a shot. This is really going to be a good one, actually. The Cleveland Browns take on the Houston Texans. The Texans are 2.5-point favorites with an over/under of 42.5. Browns coming off a really good win not a really good win, but they beat the Bears 20-17. And the Texans, with Case Keenum and everybody out, somehow pulled off a win. They beat the Titans 19-16, an impressive team win for the Houston Texans. I think they should have Stroud back, so that should be pretty good. If they don't, Keenum's probably serviceable and keep him in the game. The thing for me in this game, though, I do wonder if the Houston line and the issues we've seen from their offense sometimes, again, it's like offensive line related. Sometimes Stroud holds the ball a little long. Sometimes he makes bad reads, rookie stuff. It's just basic rookie mistakes. And I wonder if against the defense as fine-tuned as Cleveland and as super focused as Cleveland's probably going to be in this game, I wonder if Houston's going to meet oh shit, we've never played something like this before. you know, that's kind of where my head's at. I'm like, I don't know how well Houston's going to handle this defense. Now, are they going to keep it close? Oh, 100%. I really like their team. I think they play good defense. I think Stroud's going to be a guy. I think that team's going to be good. But again, they're like Nico Collins. I don't know how healthy he is. They obviously, unfortunately, lost Tank Dell a couple weeks ago. So again, there's other injuries besides CJ Stroud that have me worried. So I got to go with the Browns due to the health of the Texans, but hey, they can make it close. I also don't like that they barely were able to squeak. Nah, I'm not going to use a division game. Nah, never mind. All right, let's go to the next slot of 1 p.m. games. This is going to be a fun one for the Detroit Lions fans. Lions with the chance to clinch the NFC North for, I believe, the first time ever, or at least the first time since 93. Maybe even, I don't think they've ever won the technical NFC North. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that. But anyway, the Lions are favored by 3 with an over-under of 46.5. Vikings lost to the Bengals 27-24, as we already said. And the Lions beat the Broncos 42-17, and they looked really good through 5 TD. You know, they were looking more like the way that they did at the start of the year once again. I do think the Vikings will weirdly keep it close because the Lions do have like a struggle against like good receivers and like a good receiving core. So I could see the Vikings keeping it very close with Addison and Jefferson, even with the limitations of Nick Mullins. I do see them keeping it close, but ultimately I do think Nick Mullins not being like the biggest scrambler, kind of like one of them, like, yeah, I can run, but I'm not very good at it kind of quarterbacks, which Detroit does very well against. The one thing Detroit does bad against is quarterbacks who can scramble around really well. But they seem to be able to play good defense against guys who are built more like Nick Mullen, guys like Russell Wilson, maybe guys not the fastest, even if they're kind of mobile. Detroit seems to be able to like correct themselves in play. I also, you know, ultimately I think both defenses are good, like they play good, but I could see where the Vikings defense may not be super ready for what is going to be a two-headed monster for Detroit in terms of like, if they can play like they did against the Broncos offensively, it's going to be very hard to stop Detroit because again, they can run the shit out of it. And if you try to stop the run and sell out for it, they're just going to pass it. And if you don't sell it to stop the run, they're going to run successfully. So it's kind of one of them things where I think also the Lions offensive line is fully healthy. And apparently they don't lose when they have the combo of Sewell, Ragnow, Decker, Jackson, and Glasgow. So when those 5 guys start, the Lions are like unstoppable, and I believe they're starting. They're going to have all these things to play for. Obviously, Minnesota's going to do their damnedest to stop them, which is why it's going to be like a really good close game. But I do think the Lions prevail. Better health, better offensive situation, and I think the Lions got better coaching. You know, 2 eliminated teams going head-to-head. Let's see what happens. Washington takes on the Jets. The Jets are favored by 3 with an over-under of 37.5. I don't know. I just didn't want to pick a favorite team here. I was like, I think the Jets are terrible. What are they even going to do on offense? I know the Commanders' defense has been bad, but they can... what are they doing on offense for the Trevor Siemian? What are they doing at quarterback? That's a disaster. As bad as the Commanders have been, they can win this game. They put up 20. The Jets couldn't even score on the Dolphins, man. It's like, Jesus, dude. Like that's completely fallen apart in New York. Now Aaron's not going to come back, and like that season's over. They're just going to phone it in and try to get a better draft pick. The Jets are open tankers, and the Commanders can afford to lose a game, I guess. I don't know, or win a game. I don't know. Give me the Commanders. Who cares? The Seahawks take on the Tennessee Titans. The Seahawks coming off a shocking upset of the Eagles. I can't believe they pulled that off. Horse cock lock. What a game. What a game. And then the Tennessee Titans lost, of course, 19-16 to the Texans. Seahawks are favored by 2.5 with an over-under of 41.5. Unfortunately, I'm going to pick the Titans. This is I don't know why. I guess this is my upset pick of the weekend. And it's mainly because I feel like deep down in my chest, I feel like this is a game the Titans win because they're a spoiler team and they don't really play Seattle much, so they really don't know how to play the Titans. And the Titans like to come into this situation where everybody thinks they're gonna lose and then just spoil the shit out of somebody's season. And this is like a prime Titans win. They don't care about draft order. They're like whatever. They're gonna try to win this game. Seattle, I feel like this is just a game they get caught in and they don't know what happened. Tennessee does this every so often where they just catch a team, and I feel like the Seattle's about to get caught. I hope I'm right, because I don't want Seattle in the playoffs to play the Lions. No offense to Seattle fans or anything. It's just mainly, it's personal, you know. You guys keep beating the Lions, we can't have you in the playoffs. Let's go Titans. All right. 4 o'clock football. One of the better games of the weekend here, I think. Jacksonville Jaguars take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bucks are favored by 1.5 with an over-under of 43.5. Jaguars lost ugly to the Ravens, 23-7, but most teams kind of lose ugly to the Ravens in that defense. And the Bucks, again, with, you know, Lawrence still kind of dealing with that ankle, I'm wondering. And the Buccaneers won 34-20 over the Packers, kind of dominated, just kept scoring and scoring and scoring. However, I think that won't be the case in this game. I think they can keep it close, but I do think that the Jaguars have a substantially better defense than what the Packers threw at the Buccaneers, and you can kind of see it because the Ravens only were able to score like a few times against the Jaguars. It's not like the Jaguars play bad defense. It's just like Trevor Lawrence and the offense has been so streaky, so inconsistent. One game they look good, the next they look bad, then they look good, then they look good for 2, then bad for 3, and it's like, what? We don't know what we're going to get. But with Tampa Bay, they also kind of play like a streaky defense. One week they'll be good, one week they'll be bad. So I'm kind of just taking a shot in the dark, betting this is a bad Tampa week, this is a good Jacksonville offense week. I don't know. I trust the coaching of the Jaguars a little bit more, and what I see as a very equal football game. Really, I do. I feel like they're very equal. By the way, I found something out. Did you know that Daniel Jones and Trevor Lawrence have almost the exact same career stats through like 48 or something like games? I just seen that today, and I was like, what the hell? And I was like, wait a minute. Whoa, that's a little weird. I don't know how to process that quite yet. I'm still trying to think through it, but it's like, boy, oh boy, does the New York media do a number on these fucking quarterbacks. Jesus. The Dallas Cowboys take on the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins are favored by 1.5 with an over-under of 51.5. Oh yeah, so I got the Jaguars. I think ultimately they're deep. Yeah, I already explained Cowboys lost 31-10 to the Bills, and the Dolphins lost 30-0 to the Jets. Dolphins are favored by 1.5 with an over-under of 51.5. So I like the Dolphins at home, outside. That's always kind of works against the Cowboys for some reason. They're not very good at home for whatever, or on the road for whatever reason, the Cowboys. It seems like they do have a fatal flaw with their defense, where teams that can run the ball as well as pass it seem to do a little bit better against them. Or at least just run the shit out of it like the Bills did, and the Cowboys seem to have folded. I don't know what happened. So now with a much better run game and a much smarter offense in Miami than what Buffalo has, no offense to the Bills, it's just, you know, Mike McDaniel, his run game is very, very good. Probably just ahead of the Lions or just behind it. Probably just ahead. I would say just ahead. So again, I'm kind of liking Miami for that, because they can just kind of mirror the game plan the Bills used and run a similar offense. And plus they also have the home run threats of Tyreek Hill and Waddle. Whereas like the Cowboys, man, that's like another, I don't know, I feel like something weird happened in that game where I'm like, oh boy, was that the real Cowboys? So I'm kind of liking Miami right now, especially after what we just seen from each of these two teams last week. The Cowboys looked depleted. Again, I don't know if that was part of like them having the sickness that they had. How cured is everybody going to be? How ready is everybody going to be? I don't really know. But, you know, a little bit of recency bias maybe. I don't know. The Arizona Cardinals take on the Chicago Bears. You know, the Bears are still like weirdly in the playoff race, I think. Actually, I think they lost that game and they ruined it for themselves, but they're not eliminated yet, so... Bears are 4.5-point favorites with an over-under of 44.5. I got the Bears winning. Cardinals got blown out 45-20. Actually, they played pretty good. And the Bears almost beat the Browns, but they dropped the Hail Mary to win it. Fun quarterback battle. Kyler Murray versus Justin Fields might be worth watching. Actually, that's a pretty fun quarterback battle. Two mid-ass teams with really fun quarterbacks. I'll take the Bears. I like Justin Fields. He's having a good year. I feel like the Bears defense has been very, very, very good lately, and could completely shut down a reeling Cardinals offense. All right, let's move on to the Sunday Night Football. Oh, my poor Patriots. The New England Patriots take on the Denver Broncos. Broncos are favored by 6.5. Over under a 34.5. Holy shit. The Patriots lost to the Chiefs 27-17. The Broncos lost 42-17 to the Lions. Both teams did not play very good last week. Ultimately here, Russell Wilson plays extremely well against the Patriots, -1 career game. We call that the Super Bowl. But in the regular season, he seems to play the Patriots well. Sean Payton and his offense is substantially better than the Patriots offense. The Broncos defense is good enough to force a bunch of turnovers against the Patriots, who can't really run the ball. They can't really throw the ball because you can sell out against the run and they can't throw it. I see a couple touchdowns coming from like one of those weird, like really long plays to somebody, mainly because Denver is stacking like 11 guys in the box and they just kind of let our receivers be wide open. It's just like literally just there's like 2 plays in the game where I imagine somebody's just wide open for no reason and we score twice. And that's why the game feels close. Otherwise it's like 20-0 Denver most of the game. Yeah. Hey, Monday, Christmas Day. Well, yeah, Sunday was Christmas Eve, so now we're on Merry Christmas Football Day. Merry Christmas. You know, the first game at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard, it'll be the Raiders taking on the Chiefs. Chiefs are favored by 10 with an over-under of 41.5. Chiefs beat the Patriots, and of course the Raiders destroyed the Chargers 63-21. I think everything kind of levels itself back out a little bit. I think the Chiefs have kind of found their groove on offense, at least found a way that they can be efficient and effective on offense going forward. So I like that. They always play the Raiders really well. You know, they're at home. I think the Raiders maybe will score and kind of surprise some people because I'm giving them some respect to their offense. Yeah, mainly I think the Chiefs win this pretty comfortably, and the Raiders put on something a little late. I don't know. I like the way the Raiders are playing, but I ultimately think the Chiefs may have found their offense. Unfortunately, sorry about that. It's from Patriots fans. The Giants take on the Eagles. The Giants lost 24-6, and the Eagles lost in heartbreaking fashion, 20-17 to Horst Cocklock and the Seahawks. And the Eagles are 11.5-point favorites with an over/under of 42.5. The game is at 4:35 p.m. Eastern Standard. I got the Eagles winning. I don't really know what's going on with the Giants quarterback situation. Could be Taylor, could be fucking Tommy DeVito, could be I don't know. Seems like it's pretty whack. I don't really like the way the Eagles have been playing. They look really bad. They look very beatable. And I wouldn't be shocked if the Giants pulled off an upset at this point, but ultimately I think the Eagles eventually get it right, and maybe they let Jalen Hurts sit out for a game. he maybe just needs to take a break. They probably could have won that with Mariota last night. No offense to Hurts, he's not bad, or he seems like he might need a break. He seems beat the hell up and real sick, and I don't know. I'm going to take the Eagles in a bounce back game, but don't feel good about that pick. I really just don't. All right, last pick of the weekend. Let's see, what do we got? Oh, the game of the weekend. The Baltimore Ravens take on the San Francisco 49ers. The Niners are 5.5-point favorites with an over/under of 46.5. This game we'll be covering 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard. Monday Night Football on Christmas Day. What a gift from the NFL. Ravens coming off a win. 49ers coming off a win. Both are 11-3. Both sit atop the conferences. Both really don't want to lose this game because that opens the door for them pesky ass 10-4 potential new 11-4 teams like the Eagles. That could be the Lions, could be the Cowboys for the 49ers. For the Ravens, it could be the Dolphins. Ravens kind of have a little bit less worry than the 49ers, but I believe if they lose and the Lions win, the Lions take the 1 seed. It's like crazy what could happen with that. But anyway, we're not there yet. But I do think the 49ers win. Ultimately, I seen some struggle from the Ravens offense against the Jaguars and another good defense where I'm like, oh no, if they play the Niners, they may get smashed on. Because all the things the Jaguars and all the things I think the Browns did it to them. I can't remember. But both of the teams that kind of stifled the Ravens offense this year do what the 49ers do, just not as good as the 49ers. So I'm wondering if the 49ers defensive scheming and the way they play football kind of just like beats the Ravens style of playing offense. I think that's a thing. Plus, I don't know, like the Ravens play very good defense, but I don't know if they played as dynamic an offense as the 49ers, where you've got Ayuk, you've got Debo, you've got McCaffrey, you have to watch out for Kittle, you've got the leading MVP candidate, which should be Lamar if we're going to give it to a quarterback. But hey, I guess we can give it to Purdy, even though it should be Lamar, but arguably Mahomes over Purdy, or Tyreek Hill or Christian McCaffrey over all of them. But anyway, Ultimately, I just think that the supporting cast of the Ravens or the 49ers offense, because they're healthy right now, they're playing very well. I think they're going to be very tough for the Ravens to stop because, again, they haven't played an offense. No one has played an offense like the 49ers. Maybe the Lions kind of run a similar-ish offense, but they're not even that good. And again, I like that the couple times that I've seen the Ravens struggle on offense, it seems like the defenses they've struggled against are a little bit like lesser versions of what the 49ers do. So ultimately, I have to go with the Niners. They also get the home boost. If this was in Baltimore, I might have went Baltimore. But I'm going to take the 49ers in a really good game. All right, there we go. We should probably start to get to wrapping this up because we're out of games. So, and you know, it's already getting kind of long. So anyway, video's all done. That's week 16 down the drain, in the tubes, down the dishes or something, in the garbage disposal or I don't know. Anyway, I can't believe we're at week 16, just a couple weeks remain after this. 2 more pick'em videos, then we're doing playoff picks. Kind of a sad thing to see the season come to a close, but hey, it is what it is. It happens all the time, and you know, hopefully we have a good week. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If so, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and make sure you leave your picks with, you know, or your picks down below, your thoughts down below. Any of those things are really cool. I like to see them all because, you know, it's just fun to see, fun to talk, and see how everybody's doing on their picks and yada yada yada. But again, thank you so much for listening to this video, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So have a good rest of the I was trying to think of something creative because I keep just doing times a day. I don't have nothing. Just have a good rest of the day. I'll have something funny for the next one, I promise. All right, peace out. Go Lions, go Tigers, and of course, it's always go Patriots, even though we stink right now. Have a good rest of your afternoon or whenever you listen. Bye-bye. Peace. Stop recording.